And welcome back to another awesome project in React Native. So in this video, we'll be building a full stack personality rating app in React Native using the Expo framework and the MongoDB as backend. So we'll also be using NestJS for the backend as well. And if you find this interesting, please hit the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So it's going to be a very simple dating app. So you're going to start off from building simple apps to again, complex apps on the channel. So a lot of different projects are going to come up. So yes, let's get started with the video. So first of all, let's go ahead and then check out the demo. That is what exactly we are building. So over here initially this is the onboarding part. So we're going to have two parts. That is, once the user onboards, they would be navigated directly to the main screen where they're going to be seeing other different profiles that are enrolled in the application. Okay, so it's going to be a no face kind of dating app. That's why I said personality based dating application. So let's first of all check how exactly it's going to work. I'm going to press on get started. You need to enter your mobile number and automatically you should be able to log in over here. That is with the OTP verification. Alright, so I've entered the number. As of now, the OTP is going to come right over here to us itself. That is within the terminal. Let's press on send OTP and I'm going to enter the OTP and then I'm going to move to the next screen as well. So it's going to be 319094 verify, and boom, just like that. Once the OTP is verified, the user is a verified user. Let's try to enter the name. We can enter any random name. Continue. How old are you? 23. Continue. How do you identify? I'm going to say woman. Next, I'm going to say long-term relationship. Continue. Your personality, I'm going to say introvert, creative, then ambitious. You can enter anything you want to enter. So we're in Bengaluru, so I'm going to enter a normal place. Continue. So your interests, we can choose any of these interests for now, and then let's go, and boom, just like that. Once you log in, you are into the application, and here we have just added a basic random card, and here we're using basically your Tinder-like swiping. So you can swipe right or you can swipe left as well. So swipe right means like, and swipe left means you're going to pass the profile. Okay, so yeah, that's how it's going to work. So you can also press on these two buttons over here, that is like or pass. It is going to work as the same functionality. So once that is done, and if at all the other person is online, that is if Sujan is online, they should be able to receive the like. So let's go and then like the person, and boom, just like that, that person is liked. Similarly, we have the next profile onto the screen. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. So yeah, that's pretty much it about your home screen. If at all you want to add more details, you can do that. For now, just for testing purposes, I've just added all of these three details. Okay, and currently no images because this is a personality rating application. So now let's move ahead to the matches part. Okay, currently this person who's currently logged in doesn't have any matches. So let me actually go to a different profile, log out, and then we're gonna first of all check if at all we have any matches. So if at all you already have an account, which I already have with my other phone number, I'm gonna log in through that. So sign in. Let me just log in and verify the OTP as well. The OTP is going to be 634170. So let's press on verify, and boom, just like that, we are verified. And once you go to matches screen, there you go, we have two likes. One is the person who has just liked this just a couple of minutes ago, and one is the other person. Okay, you can see all of the details they have mentioned, their own profile. So you can try to accept or you can try to decline. Let's try to accept this person, and boom, just like that, it shows you both liked each other and send a message. Okay, so you can try to send the message over here, and just like that, you should be navigated to that specific chat screen in which two people are present, you and the opposite person with whom you've matched. So here in the chat screen, everything is going to work properly fine. We have implemented the real-time messaging. So if at all the person is on the screen, they should be able to get real-time updates with the help of socket client. So there you go, a single tick is being seen. So even the time is being shown 8:13, and once that opposite person opens this chat, automatically it's going to be a double tick, and it is going to be real time as well, as I explained. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. So come back to matches. There you go, we do have one match, and these are all of the likes that we have present. So this was previously present. You can try to accept this as well. Again, it's going to work properly fine. Okay, so that's how we're going to build this simple kind of personality dating application. In the coming videos, we're going to improve and we're going to build more complex and more better projects. So just for starting off, we're going to build this simple application, and yes, even in this there is a lot of learning that you're going to get. So yes, we're going to build this up, and in profile it's going to be simple, a logout option, and it would be bringing you back to the onboarding screen, or basically your welcome screen. So yes, that's it about the demo video. So we're going to build this project into 3 videos. Yeah, because it's been a long time I've uploaded any video onto the channel. So we're going to start building this project, which is pretty simple, and we're going to have, I guess, 2 or 3 parts. The first part is going to be basically your onboarding setup, your project setup, your designs for all the screens, and next part we're going to include the backend, and then we're going to integrate all of the APIs. So if you find this interesting, please do the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So let's get started with this project right away. So now the first step is to create a fresh new Expo Manage project. So let's go do that. So currently I've just opened up my VS Code. It's currently blank. And over here within my terminal, I'm going to go into my build folder. And over here, I'm going to execute the command to create a fresh new Expo project. You can come back to Chrome and then you can search for Expo create app. You can go into the first link and then you can execute this command. Okay, so here I'm going to say npx create expo app add latest. Let's press on enter. It's going to ask what is your app name, so you can pass in your project name. I'm just going to say chance dating, something like this, and let's press on enter again. So this should create us the project, and it should install all of the required files, dependencies that Expo manages, and it should give us the entire project structure. So it's going to take about 2 to 5 minutes based on your network, and once it is installed, let's go into the project structure and then look into the files that Expo is given us. So yeah, let's wait for a couple of minutes for the project to initialize. So there you go, it says your project is ready. To run your project, navigate to that specific directory and then run these commands. So let's go into the project directory. I'm going to press on file and then open folder. Here I'm going to go into my build folder, as well as, let's say, chance dating. That's the app which we've created as of now. So yeah, this is your app route, and within that we have the basic default tab setup, and this is the main underscore layout.tsx, where we have 2 tabs. That is, this is the main layout where we have the tabs part and the model is initialized. Within your tabs we have the main underscore layout of the tabs route, and here we have 2 things, that is 2 tabs, index tab as well as your explore tab. So the first step is to let's initialize and let's try to run the application. So I'm going to press on terminal, new terminal. So make sure you are in the correct project directory, that is your project name, chance dating, it's correctly being shown. Here I'm going to say npx expo start and then enter. So there you go. You can also try to view the same application on your own phone as well. Just try to open up your phone, use the Expo Go app and then scan this QR code. Automatically you should be able to see the output onto your phone. And in my case, I'm using a iPhone 16 Pro Max simulator. So since I'm using a simulator, I'm going to press on I. If you're using Android simulator, press on A. Okay, let's press on I. So there you go. It is automatically loading the app, chance dating. It's currently building up the JavaScript bundle, and boom, just like that, we're able to see whatever is there within your index.tsx, because that's the first tab. So basically whatever is there within this return block, the same thing is being shown over here as well. Same thing goes for explore as well. So this is the code that is present within explore, and that is being shown over here. Okay, so yeah, this part is done. So now first of all, as we discussed earlier, we're going to use TypeScript for coding as well as Nativewind, that is for the designing part. Let's go ahead and then set up the Nativewind part, and for all of the icons we're going to use Expo vector icons. So let's first of all come back to Chrome, and I'm going to search for nativewind.dev. Go into this website, let's press on get started, and I'm going to use Expo itself. Come back to Expo tab, copy that down, and here I'm going to enter that, install all of these dependencies, and the next step is to set up the Tailwind CSS. So let's create that file at the root level, tailwind.config.js file. Okay, this step is in progress. So onto the root level, I'm going to say tailwind.config.js. Let's press on enter, save the file. So here they've given according to this app structure, that is according to the documentation, but here we're going to make few changes that is going to be with respect to our current app structure. Okay, so I'm just going to paste the code for that. So make sure everything under the app, that is this app, that is the style, is going to get applied. So I've added JS, JSX, TS and then TSX. Same thing goes to the components as well. Okay, so the style is going to get applied correctly now. So yeah, make sure to make this change and then save the file. Let's move on to the next step, that is going to be to create a CSS file and then add the Tailwind directives. Copy that down and come back over here. Again, onto the root level, I'm going to say global.css and then add it over here. So once that's done, let's try to add the Babel preset. So make sure to create that file if not present. So it's going to be babel.config.js. So this should include that Nativewind package just like this within the presets array. So yeah, this step is done. So next step is to create your metro.config.js file and then add the following configuration, which would include the Nativewind styling package. So here I'm going to say new file onto the root level, metro.config.js, enter and save the file. So yeah, this part is done. So now the next step is to import your CSS file to the main layout.tsx. So come back to the main underscore layout.tsx. Let's remove that. That is not required for now. Here I'm going to say import your global.css. Save the file. Let's try to cut the terminal. And we're going to restart the app by clearing the cache. And then we're going to try to give the styles over here. So here I'm going to say npx expo start -- clear, enter. And there you go. Over here it says it has created this new file that is nativewind.env d.ts. So let's try to press on I. So it's going to reload the app from start, and let's try to make this style change over here. So come back to your index.tsx, and let's say below the welcome I'm going to add a new text. Here I'm going to say hey, and let's directly try to give the class name. So I'm going to say class name text red of 300 or 500. Okay, that's weird. For some reason it's not getting applied. Let's reload the app once. Alright, not sure because we have cleared the cache and even we can see this getting updated. That is with respect to the Nativewind. So yes, I think we have completed all the steps. Alright, so let's again check the text over here. That is within the index. Okay, so I got to know the issue. The text is actually coming from React navigation element. So that's the reason the style is not getting applied. It should come from React Native. So yeah, now that should work. Let's import it from React Native. Save and boom. Just like that, you're able to see that working properly fine. So yeah, this step is working fine, and we have set up and initialized the Nativewind into our project, and we can start using the styles in any point of our application within the app and the components folder. So this step is done. So now the next step we can move into is to design the layout under the tabs. That is this one. So we're gonna have 3 tabs as you saw in the demo part of the video. One is the index, that's the home, your matches as well as the profile. So let's press on tabs over here and let's create all of the files. Index.tsx, yeah, that's already there. Next is going to be your matches.tsx. Okay, so rnfes, save. Apart from that, we're going to have the profile.tsx. Rest all files we can delete it. So I'm going to say profile.tsx, rnfes, save. You can delete your explore, remove that, and let's make the changes over here. So as of now, we're not going to use the color scheme and all of those details, so you can try to remove that for now. So for the main tabs, we're going to provide in the screen options. Let's give it from the starting point. So here I'm going to say header shown is going to be false. Okay, apart from that, your tab bar style. Here I'm going to say background color. This is the one. It's going to be this color code, that is hashtag 090 and then 90B. Apart from that, your border top color. And this is going to be hashtag 27272A. Next, I'm going to say border top width. It's going to be 0.5. We're going to have a height as well. That's going to be of 60. Okay, and it's going to have a padding bottom as well. So padding bottom of 8. Let's try to save the file, and boom, just like that, you're able to see the changes onto the bottom tab navigator. So this part is done. So apart from the tab bar style, we're going to have 3 more styles. That's the tab bar active tint color and the tab bar inactive tint color. So you can add a comma over here, and I'm going to say tab bar active tint color. It's going to be this color code, that is EC4899, and your tab bar inactive tint color is going to be equals to hashtag 525 and then 25b. And there you go, just like that. This is looking pretty nice. Okay, we just need to fix the things for the remaining two icons. So first one, yeah, for the tab.screen, name is going to be index and title is going to be discover. Save the file. There you go, that's looking good. So tab bar icon is going to be as is. Let's make the change. I'm going to add a normal icon for this. I'm just going to paste it for both of these two things. Let's try to format once and let's try to import your text from React Native. Save. There you go, you can try to add that normal icon. Okay, that's basically a kind of glitter icon. Next is for the heart, that is for the matches. As you can see, that's looking good. The final one is going to be for the profile. Just copy this and then make the changes. Okay, so here we are going to say profile and title is going to be profile for this. Let's try to save the file. Okay, icon is going to be different. Let me just get the icon for that. Okay, so there you go, format once and then save the file. Just like that, we are able to see all of the three tabs, and we are able to switch between each of the tabs. So this part is complete. So now let's actually set up the Justin part, that is for the state management for the entire application, and we're going to include the auth store, and we're going to include all of the functionalities, that is token has completed onboarding, your set tokens, and logout, as well as the hydrate method. So for that we need to initialize and install the dependencies. So here I'm going to say clear, I'm going to say yarn add your Justin as well as your tanstack query, React query, and then the Axios. Let's press on enter. And apart from that, we also need access to the Expo secure store as well. So search for Expo secure store, copy that down. So with the help of Expo itself, we're going to install this. Let's wait for this to complete. So there you go, this step is complete. Let's also include this one, that's the next one, Expo secure store. So once that's done, we also need to include React Native async storage as well. That is from Expo itself. So go to the first link and then try to install this. Enter. So let's create our store onto the root level, and we're gonna say auth.store.ts. So here first of all, let's try to define the interface, that is of the auth state, how exactly it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna say auth state. This in turn is gonna have a token for the user that is gonna be of type string or initially null. Okay, so we're gonna have the next one that's gonna be has completed onboarding. This is gonna be a boolean type. Next is hydrated, is gonna be boolean as well. Next are some of the methods. So set token, access is gonna be of type string, and refresh is also gonna be of type string. Here I'm gonna say promise of void. Okay, so next I'm gonna say set onboarding complete. Is gonna be again a promise of void. Next two methods is gonna be for logout. Just copy this down again, and finally for your hydrate method. Okay, so this is gonna be your auth state. Now let's do the Justin store creation. So here for that I'm gonna say export const, it's gonna be your use auth store, that's gonna be the name, is gonna be equals to, we can directly use the create method from Justin, import it onto the top. I'm gonna say import create from Justin. Okay, so here I'm gonna say use auth store is gonna be equals to create, it's gonna be of the type auth state, taken a set method, and here let's try to set the default values, that is token initially is going to be null, and has onboarding completed or has completed onboarding by default false, is hydrated is going to be equals to false. Okay, And let's define the next method that's going to be for the set tokens. So here I'm going to say set tokens is going to be a async method. It's going to have in two things as we have discussed earlier, your access as well as your refresh token. Okay, so here I'm going to say await your secure store. Let's actually import that as well onto the top. That is from Expo secure store. So here I'm going to say secure store dot we do have the set item async. This in turn is going to take in the key value pair. So access token, that's the key, and the value for this is going to be equals to access. So this is just going to set into the Expo secure store. Next I'm going to say await your secure store dot again set item async with your refresh underscore token. This is going to be refresh over here. Okay, and I'm going to say set token to be of access. Next is going to be for the set onboarding complete. This is again going to be a async function with no parameters. Okay, so this basically stores the onboarding done in async storage as well as your secure store, and it updates the state. So let's do that. I think we also need to import the async storage as well onto the top. Let's go and then do it over here just like this. So here within set onboarding complete, I'm going to say await. It's going to be async storage dot set item async. Sorry, my bad, set item, because only for secure storage set item async. It's going to be async storage dot set item with respect to the key, that is going to be onboarding done. I'm going to set it to be true. Next, await secure store dot set item async, again onboarding done. We're going to set it to be true as well again, and we're going to update the state. So for that, use the set method we have taken, and here I'm going to say has completed onboarding is going to be true. Okay, so apart from that, we're going to have your logout button or the logout functionality. Here it's going to have async method. So logout is simple, simply clear and delete all of the values which was previously set. So I'm just going to add the code for that. So format once. Okay, so await secure store for all of these items, access token, refresh token, onboarding done, mark it as false or delete that key, and even for your async storage as well. And set the state, that is token is going to be null. So here set token is going to be null, has complete onboarding is going to be false, and then is hydrated is going to be false as well. So now the final method, that's the most important function, that is your hydrate method. Let's add that. So this runs when the app starts. So I'm going to say async. So first step is to fetch the stored data. Let's go ahead and then do that. So for that, I'm just going to say const your token, comma your onboarding secure. Not this one. Onboarding secure, comma onboarding async is going to be equals to await. I'm going to say promise.all. Here let's try to access all of the values. Make sure you add in the same key with which you have set it. Okay, so yeah, after this happens, next step is to resolve the onboarding value. If either storage says true, onboarding is done. So let's try to add that condition over here. So I'm going to say const onboarding is going to be equals to, so const onboarding is going to be equals to, I'm going to say onboarding secure. If it's equals to true, or your onboarding async is equals to true. Okay, you can try to add a console.log over here. That is just like this. Format once. One is to check the hydrated token, your secure value as well as the async value over here. And the final one is to update your Sujan state. So for that, I'm going to say set your token to be of your token value, else null. And here I'm going to say has completed onboarding is going to be onboarding. Things are going to be a comma. Next, we're going to say is hydrated is going to be equals to true. Okay. So if that's pretty much it, and we also do have the try catch block. I guess I've not written the try block. Let me add the try as well as the catch block. So catch block is pretty simple. We're just going to get the error, and then we're going to set is edited to be true and log that specific error if any. So let's make that change over here. Okay, so I've just added the catch block. That is the only addition, and this code is going to remain as is. So if this part is complete, so now let's go into the main underscore layout.tsx and then make the change. Before that, let's create our folders, that is for the auth. So within the app, I'm going to say new folder auth. This auth is going to have two things, your phone.tsx as well as the otp.tsx, also the layout. So I'm going to say underscore layout.tsx. We're going to have otp.tsx, rnfes to get the Sujan code snippet, save. Apart from that, we're also going to have the phone.tsx as well. So rnfes and then save the file. Let's also create the folder for onboarding that's required for now. Onboarding. So within onboarding, we're going to have a bunch of files and folders. First of all, let's try to add the layout. I'm going to say underscore layout.tsx. I'm just going to add the code for this. It is going to have a Expo default function onboarding layout, and we're going to have a stack being imported that is from Expo router. Header tune is going to be false for all the screens. Content style is going to have a background color of this color code. Copy that down, and animation type is going to be slide from right. Okay, so similar condition I'm going to add it for the above one as well, that is for auth layout structure. So here, copy that down, make the changes. It's going to be equals to your auth layout over here. So I'm going to say auth layout, and here screen options, I'm going to say header shown false. Content style is going to be background color with the similar code, that is 09 and then 0b. We can remove this, not required for now, and then save the file. So now let's make the changes within your main layout.tsx. So currently it's not correctly structured. So here this file controls all of the routing. So basically when the app starts, where should the user go? That implementation, we're going to do it in this specific file. So yes, let's get started with this. So this is going to be based on two things: if at all user is logged in, and did they finish onboarding. Okay, so if at all user is logged in, then show the main tabs as this, and if they have not done the onboarding, go to the phone screen, enter the OTP, and then make sure they complete the onboarding by entering all of their details for the dating app. Yeah, so first of all, within the root layout, I'm going to remove this. That's not required for now. And I'm going to make use of a return block, which is already there. And here I'm going to have in my query client provider that we have from your tan stack query. Okay, let's try to import it manually. I'm going to import your query client provider from your @tan stack query. You also need to get your query client as well. So I'm going to say comma query client. All right. So this in turn is going to take in your client, that is going to be equals to your query client. Okay, not like this. Let's try to create that over here. That's an instance. Here I'm going to say const query client is going to be equals to a new query client. Here let's try to provide in some default options. That is going to be queries. Retry is going to be one time. Stale time is going to be equals to 1000 into 60 into 5. Okay, here we can pass in the query client that we have just created. That's the one. So here I'm going to make use of my slot from Expo router, and I'm going to have in my navigation guard as well. This is the function that we're going to define just below this. So let's say over here, function your navigation guard. Okay, so first of all, let's try to get in the auth state within the navigation guard. I'm just going to add the code for that. So make sure to import use auth store from the store file as well as your use state. So here I've added the slot within your query client provider. So this basically shows where your current screen is going to render. That's the reason we've used slot over there from Expo router. So once your auth state is ready, let's try to also set the local state ready with the help of const ready comma. Set ready is going to be equals to use state of false. Next, we're going to have our first use effect being written. That's for the hydration part. So here I'm going to say use effect, import that from React. And over here it's going to run on the initial app start, so empty dependency array. Okay, so here I'm going to say hydrate dot, it's going to be then, apply the then method, and I'm just going to say set ready to be of true with respect to the local state. Let's give a format once. Okay, so this basically is going to fire up as the app starts. It calls the hydrate from your Justin store and it loads the token as well as your onboarding status. After done, it sets the ready to be as true. That's what we're doing over here. Okay, so why is actually ready needed? Because Justin update is async, so we wait for it to complete properly. So the second use effect is for the navigation decision, that is where exactly to move, to the main or to the phone or to the onboarding. So let's try to add that condition over here with the help of the route. So let's try to add a second use effect. That's the reason we're using this for the navigation purpose. So use effect over here, this is going to be dependent upon your ready as well as is hydrated. Here first of all, let's check if at all not of ready or not of hydrated, directly return, no need to execute. So I'm just going to say return. Next, let's try to access the token. I'm going to say const token is going to be equals to not of token, then it's going to go into / welcome. Okay, else it's going to be not of has completed onboarding, then it's going to be going into onboarding home or onboarding name. So onboarding / name, else if at all the token is present, go into the tabs. Okay, just like this. Let's try to format once. Yeah, so next we're going to use the request animation frame to ensure navigator is mounted. So for that, here I'm going to say request animation frame. Here I'm going to say router.replace of the route as any. So this router is going to come from Expo router. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So below this we're going to say return null. That's it. Let's try to save the file. Let's try to run the app again and let's see what exactly happens. So come back over here. I'm going to say clear nps expo start. Let's clear up the cache and then run from the starting point. Open it on the iOS. Okay, so for some reason token is showing is true because I just worked on this project previously just a couple of hours ago. So let's try to clear up the tokens and let's try to make that work again. So I'm going to create a root index.tsx file. That's going to be the main entry point. So press on app and here I'm going to say index.tsx and boom, finally it's working fine. So just try to add this code. You can try to use your own code, but for you it should work properly fine on the first try. Okay, so I've just used this code that is clear of all the keys and now it's working properly fine. It says token is false, previously it was saying true. Okay, so make sure to use different keys so that you might not land up into this error. So as you can see, token is false and secure is also null, async is also null. Let's come back to the previous state, save the file. Now we're getting unmatched out because it is going to go into onboarding a name, not onboarding name, your main screen or the welcome screen that's not present basically. Okay, so let's come back to your underscore layout. So it's trying to go into this welcome, but welcome is not present over here. Let's try to create that and let's try to design that. That's the first step. So let's try to create that welcome.tsx within the main app. I'm going to say welcome.tsx rnfes, save, reload the app, and boom, just like that, you're able to see the welcome screen onto the top, and even you're able to see that over here because it's almost touching the status bar. So that's the first step. Let's go and then style out the welcome screen. So there you go. Currently we're coming into the welcome screen because everything is false and null at this point of time. You can check out the main underscore layout. So no token is present. Come directly to the welcome screen. Okay. So that's the next step. Come back to the welcome screen and then start designing this out as you saw in the demo part of the video. So let's start designing this welcome screen. So I'm going to remove everything for now. And here I'm going to say export default function. Welcome screen. Okay. So here I'm going to say return. I'm going to have a safe area view. Okay. That is from React Native safe area context. Here I'm going to give it a flex of 1. So class name flex of 1, bg zinc of let's say 950. Save and boom, just like that. That's looking pretty good. So apart from that, I'm going to have a view. Within that, one more view. Make sure to import view from React Native. Okay. Within this, we're going to have one more view. And here we're going to have a text that is going to be basically a glitter icon. So save, import text from React Native. Okay, let's start designing this. So onto the top, I'm going to give the design for the topmost view. So class name, give it a flex of 1, px of 6, and I'm going to say justify of between, and I'm going to say py of 8. Save the file. And for this one, I'm going to give a class name, basically some margin top, so empty of 10. So I'm going to say empty 10 and gap is going to be 6. Okay, so here I'm going to say class name. It's going to have a width of 16, height of 16, and it's going to have a bg ping of 500. Rounded is going to be 2xl, item center, and justify center as well. There you go. That's looking pretty neat. And below this, I'm going to have a view. This is going to have a text which is going to say find your. Let's add a new line over here. Okay, below this we're going to have not just a. Again, copy this down. Save. Let's try to save the file. I'm just trying to add the styles over here. Make sure to take a look at it. So save the file. So it's going to say find a person, not just a face, and then some basic stylings over here. So yeah, this part is done. So below that over here, I'm going to have one more view. Okay. This view in turn is going to have all of the keywords being mapped through. Let me add the keywords over here. You can take a look at it. So here, I'm going to map over it. So I'm going to say dot map. For every tag that we have, I'm going to say view, and this view in turn is going to have a text which is going to show that tag. Okay, let's try to provide the class name for this. It's going to have a text zinc of 400. Okay, then we're going to have a text of XS. Save. There you go. That's looking good. And for your view class name, I'm going to say bg zinc of 900. It's going to have a border zinc of 800. Okay, let's write that properly. 800. Then we're going to have rounded is going to be full, px of 4, py of 2. Save. So yeah, there you go. That's looking good. So for the view, I'm going to pass on class name. That's for the outermost view. It's going to have a flex of row, flex of wrap, and a gap of 2, as well as a margin top of 2. And boom, just like that, is looking pretty neat. This is done. So now next we're going to have the get started button as well as the sign in button. That's going to come right below this specific view. So having a view over here, which in turn is going to have a pressable. Import that from React Native. This is going to have a text which is going to say get started. Okay, so save. Let's pass on the class name for this. This is going to have a text of white, font of bold, and text of base. Below that, I'm going to have a pressable. This in turn is going to have a text which is going to say already have an account. Then with a space, I'm going to have one more text which is going to say sign in. Okay, so for the pressable or for the view, I'm going to say class name, give it a gap of 3. And over here, class name, it's going to have a BG ping of, let's say, 500, rounded off to Excel, PY of 4, item center, and on press is going to go into auth phone. So on press, taking a function, and router.push into /auth phone. Save the file. There you go. That's looking good. And for the final one, I'm just going to add in the design. You can take a look at it. Okay. Format once. I've also given the on press for this as well. Save. Okay. So this step is done. So this is the initial screen that the user is going to be shown once when they log into the application or once when they open the app. So once I press on get started, there you go. We're coming correctly to the phone screen. Okay. That is going to be within the auth phone over here. Right. So first of all, let's design this, and then later let's look into the backend part of the implementation, or we can do that in part 2 as well. So let's first of all focus on the design part. So here for the phone, I'm again going to say export default function. This is going to be phone screen. Okay. And here I'm going to say const phone, comma set phone is going to be equals to use state, initially a empty string. We also do need the loading state, so const loading comma set loading is going to be equals to use state. Again over here, let's pass it as false as the initial state. Let's try to return the design. So yeah, safe area view again. Here let's try to provide in the class name, that is going to be flex of 1 and bg zinc of 900 or 950. Okay, that's working fine. So the next step is over here, I'm going to make use of the keyboard avoiding view. So here I'm going to say keyboard avoiding view. Let's pass on the class name. So class name is going to be equals to a flex of 1. Here we need to provide in the behavior as well. So behavior. So your platform.os, if it is equals to iOS, it's going to be padding, question mark padding, else it is going to be height. Okay, this part is done. So within that, we're going to have a view. Within that, we're going to have the header part of the design. Make sure to import view from React Native. Here we're going to have a text which says hey there. Let's pass on the class name for this first. It's going to have a text of white, and it's going to have a text of 4XL. Alright, and a font of bold as well. So there you go. That's looking properly fine. Below that, we're going to have a text which is going to say enter your phone number to get started. So enter your phone number to get started. Let's pass on the class name for this. Text zinc of 400, text of base, save. Okay, that's looking cool. So for the outermost view, class name, give it a flex of 1, px of 6, justify is going to be center, and give it a gap of 8 as well. For the inner view over here, pass on the class name. It's going to have a gap of 2, save. Get started. There you go. That's looking good. Now let's design the input part of it. That's going to come right below this view. This in turn is going to have 3 views. So add it over here. Within that, we're gonna have a text which is gonna say a +91. I'm just gonna get the design for that as well as for the input as well. So yeah, this is gonna be your first part of the design. So input needs to be imported from the components part. So for that, we need to create a input component. So come back to the components UI and let's create a input.tsx. Here I'm going to say new file, input.tsx. So here I'm going to say export default function input. This in turn is going to have your label, your error, as well as all of your props. That is going to be of type input props. So input props is going to be defined over here onto the top. That is just like this. Let's import your text input props from React Native. Okay, so here let's continue writing this. Let's try to return. Okay, I'm going to return a view, and here make sure to import view from React Native as such. Okay, within the view I'm going to have in a label, and over here I'm going to have a text which is going to show the label. Okay, import text as well from React Native. Let's pass in the class name. It's going to have a text zinc of, let's say, 400. Text is going to be SM. Font is going to be medium. MB is going to be 1. Save the file. Let's first of all write down the code and then we can look into the design part of it. So import text input from React Native. Okay, so first of all, placeholder text color, it's going to be this color code, hashtag 71717A. Okay, then I'm going to say selection color is going to be equals to hashtag EC, then 4899. Apart from that, we're going to include all of the props. Just try to access it just like this. And we're going to give the style for this based on the conditional styling. So just try to add the entire class name for this with all of these included styles. So let's format once and save the file. And if there is any error, let's try to show that over here. I'm going to say error. And here also we're going to show a class name basically. So text. Here I'm going to say error. So I'm going to say class name, text red of, let's say, 400, text of XS, and empty of 1. Okay, format once. And for the outermost view, I'm going to give it a class name that is width of full and a gap of 1. Save. Here let's try to import input from your components folder. And I think we need access to some more states, that is your error and the set error as well. So your const error comma set error is going to be equals to use state, initially a empty string. Save the file. Let's come back over here, and there you go, just like that. Is looking fine. Yeah, the design is kind of messed up because the input should come onto the center part of the screen. Let's fix that up. And we're also going to have a button that is, by continuing you agree to the terms and privacy policy. Let's fix this design over. Okay, so I've also added two more things over here. That's the button design as well as your text which is, by continuing you agree to the terms and privacy policy. So again, for button, we are going to have a new component being rendered that is going to be within your UI folder. So create that button.tsx and then let's try to design that. Okay, so let's come back to your UI, new file. I'm going to say button.tsx. Okay, so here first of all, let's try to define the props. I'm going to say interface button props. So your label is going to be your string. Okay, and we're going to say on press is going to be of void. Next you're going to have your loading. So this is going to be of type boolean. Next is the button disabled this is going to be boolean as well, and your variant, that is going to be primary or outline. Okay, or it's going to be ghost over here. And full width, this is going to be a parameter as well, that is going to be boolean. And over here I'm going to say export function button. Here I'm going to have your label, okay, and your on press. Apart from that, loading, that is going to be equals to false. Your disabled value, that is also going to be equals to false initially. And your variant, I'm going to say primary for now, and I'm going to say full width is going to be true. Okay, so it's going to be of type button props. So here let's try to first of all check the conditions, and based on that we're going to provide the styles. Here I'm going to say const is disabled is going to be equals to disabled or loading. Okay, here I'm going to say const container style is going to be equals to, I'm going to add in all of the container styles, you can take a look at it, and I'll be sending the details in the description, you can copy that as well. So I'm going to add both the things, that is your container style as well as the label style. So for each of the things, that is primary, outline, ghost, these are the required values, you can take a look at it. And now let's try to return the design over here. I'm going to say return, this is going to be a touchable opacity. Your class name is going to be simple, that is container style of your variant. Okay, apart from that, over here I'm going to say on press is going to be equals to on press, and your disabled is going to be equals to is disabled. Okay, active opacity is going to be equals to let's say 0.8. all right, so format once and then let's try to save. So within this I'm going to say if at all loading is true, then we're going to show activity indicator, import that from React Native. Else we're going to show a text itself, so add a text, and here we're going to have the label being passed. Import text from React Native as such. So class name for this, it's going to be again similar, label style of your variant. Okay, so for the activity indicator we're going to say color. If at all your variant is going to be equals to primary, then it's going to be triple F. Else it's going to be this color code, that is EC4899. That's it. Let's try to format once and then save the file. Make sure to import button from that specific component, that is your UI components. So there you go, this part is done. So let's try to save the file, format once you press on get started, and boom, just like that. As you can see, by default your send OTP is disabled. Once you enter the number, then only it should be enabled. Okay, so yeah, this part is done. So now the next step is to go ahead and then design the OTP screen, or we can do that later. First of all, let's start designing all of your onboarding screens. That's the next step. That's going to be starting from your name. Okay, let's create all of the screens first under onboarding. New file, I'm going to say name.tsx, then we're going to have age.tsx. Apart from that, your gender.tsx. Next, your goals.tsx or goal.tsx. Okay, then your location.tsx, interests.tsx, your traits.tsx, and so on. Okay, save the file. Let's try to format once. Okay, so the key part is missing, I think I forgot that. So where we are rendering within your welcome, let's provide the key as well. Where is welcome? Yeah, so the point where we are mapping all of these three things, key, tag for now, save. Okay, so let's come back to your underscore layer.tsx. Let's make sure the design is going to be your onboarding name as well, if at all no token is present. So this is just for the designing purpose. Once the design is done and once the backend is initialized, we're going to make the change over here. Reload. Okay, not sure, for some reason onboarding name is not present. Let's see why exactly it's not working. Okay, because nothing is there over here, RNFES, that's the reason it is not showing. Reload. So let's come back to the name.tsx, which we are in the current screen. So here let's start to design this. So again, remove everything, and here I'm going to say export default function name screen. Okay, here I'm going to say const name comma your set name is going to be equals to your use onboarding store. Okay, I think before proceeding to this, let's first of all design the use onboarding store. That's important because from that only we'll be getting all of the details. So yeah, let's create a onboarding.store.ts file within the store folder. So we're only going to have two states as of now. So I'm going to say onboarding.store.ts. Here first of all, let's try to define the interface. I'm going to say interface onboarding state. Okay, pass on the name, that's going to be string. Your age as well, that is string. We're going to have the gender for the user, string. Then your relationship goal, that is going to be of type relationship goal. We're going to define this in just a bit, or it's going to be empty. Next, your personality traits, interests, bio, and location. Let's add it over here. Format once. So apart from location, we are also going to have all of the setters, that is for the functions. Set name, take in the name of type string, and we're going to set it, that is going to be a void. Next, set age, this in turn is going to have again name of type string. Here I'm going to say void. Next is for set gender, I'm going to say gender of type gender. Here it's going to be of type void. Next, set relationship goal. Okay, this is going to be, it's going to take in the goal of type relationship goal. So next I'm going to add in the remaining ones, you can take a look at it. Format once. So let's define these two things, that is the relationship goal as well as the personality trait. That's going to come from the types. So create a types folder, and we're going to have index.ts file, and then let's create all of these over there. Okay, so onto the root folder, I'm going to say types. It's going to be index.ts. All right, so here first of all for the auth, I'm going to say export interface. It's going to be send OTP request. I'm going to say it's going to be type phone of string. Next I'm going to say export interface verify OTP request. Your phone is going to be of type string, and your OTP is going to be of type string as well. Next we're going to say export interface auth response, and here I'm going to say access token is going to be of type string. Your refresh token as well, that's required, of string. Next is new user, it's going to be of type boolean. Okay, so let's try to export the types, that is your relationship goal, personality trait, as well as the gender. You can try to add it over here, all of these three things. You can pause for a bit and then you can look into all of the details. All right, the next one is going to be for the user profile. So here I'm going to say export interface user profile. ID is going to be of type string, phone of string, name string as well, age string, gender is going to be of type gender, your bio of type string, relationship goal of type relationship goal, then your personality traits is going to be of personality trait. Next you're going to have few more, that is interests, has photo, is photo unlocked, photo URL created at, and the location. Save the file. Next we're going to have the details for your discover screen, that is the discover profile. Let's define that type. Now let's design the interface for the onboarding payload. I think we've already done that once. Let's check it out over here. Yeah, so this is going to remain something similar. Copy that down, come back to your types index.ts. Here I'm going to say export interface onboarding payload. Okay, name, age, gender, bio, relationship goal, and personality traits, your interests, as well as your location. Yeah, this is it. Format once. So this part is done. So now the next types is going to come once when we implement the matching, as well as your chat functionalities. Save the file, come back over here, import required things. Okay, so we are good to go. Gender as well. Save. Come back to onboarding.store.ts and let's try to export it over here. So I'm going to say export const use onboarding store is going to be equals to create method from just end. This is going to be of type onboarding store. Sorry, onboarding state. This is going to have two things, set and get. Here let's have in all of the default values, that is name, age, gender, relationship goal, personality traits, interests, bio, and location. By default is going to be empty. So let's add it over here just like this. Next, for set name, access the name, and over here just let's try to set the name. That's how we do it. Next, set age, so yeah, set age is gonna be of age. Here we are gonna say set of age, comma, next one is gonna be your gender part. So set gender, this in turn is gonna have in the gender, and set to be your gender. Okay, apart from that we're gonna have three more things: set relationship goal, set bio, as well as set location. Okay, I've just added all of these three things. Make sure to add it over here. So yeah, let's add the remaining ones, that is toggle trait, toggle interest, as well as the reset functionality. So first of all, your toggle trait, this in turn is going to have in the trait that is chosen by the user. Okay, add it over here. Here first of all, access the current value. So current is going to be equals to get dot your personality traits, and check if it exists. I'm going to say const exists is going to be equals to current dot includes of the trait. If exists is true, Here I'm going to say set your personality traits to be of the current dot filter. For every value, I'm going to say t should not be equals to the trait. Okay, that is if it is present, remove. If it is not present, then add it. That's what we're going to do over here. So else, if your current dot length is less than 3, then add it. I'm going to say set your personality traits to be of whatever is there within the current. So spread that value and add that trait. Okay, that's it. Next method is going to be for the toggle interest. So toggle interest, this in turn is going to take in the interest that is chosen by the user. Here again, access the current. Const current is going to be equals to get dot your interests. Again, exists is going to be equals to current dot includes of interest. Let's copy that correctly. So here I'm going to say const exists is going to be equals to current dot includes of your interest. Again, similar conditions I'm going to add over here. So if exists, then set the interest to be of current dot filter, remove it. Else, if at all the current dot length is greater than 8, then set the interest and then add the current interest, whichever the user is choosing. Okay, the final method is going to be for the reset. Let's add it over here. Okay, reset means set everything to be of null. So here I'm going to say include the set, and all the details is going to be empty now. So name is going to be empty, then age again empty. Apart from that, your gender empty as well. Your relationship goal is going to be empty string. Personality traits empty array. Your interests again empty array. Your bio empty array as well as your location empty string. Let's format once. Okay, there you go. This part is done. Save the file. Now let's come back to your name screen and then let's continue designing this. So where we have the name.tsx. So here first of all, let's get in two things, that is name comma set name is going to be equals to your use onboarding store, and save the file. Let's try to return. Here we're going to have a safe area view. Okay, so here I'm going to say class name, that is going to be a flex of 1 and a BG zinc of 950. Save the file. So here below your safe area view, I'm going to use my progress bar as you saw in the demo part of the video, that is going to represent the step for each screen. So the first step is going to be your name screen. So here I'm going to say your progress bar. Okay, we need to include this within the UI folder. So let's go to the UI folder and then create a new file that is going to be your progressbar.tsx. So it's going to be a very simple file. So let's write that down, and for each screen as it progresses, we need to increase the step value. So here I'm going to say progress bar.tsx. Alright, here let's try to define the interface. I'm going to say interface props. Here I'm going to say step is going to be of number. Okay, and total is going to be of number as well. So yeah, apart from that, I'm going to say on back as well. What needs to happen? So on back method, it is going to be a void basically. Okay, once that's done, let's try to export it. I'm going to say export function progress bar. This in turn is going to take in your step, comma total, comma on back, that is going to be of props. Here let's try to return it over here. I'm going to return a view basically. Make sure to import view from React Native as such. So here within the view, I'm going to have one more view. This in turn is going to have a pressable. So within that, we're going to have a text which is going to have the back button. I'm just going to get the design for that, as well as I'm going to add the class name for the pressable, which is going to be width of 9, height of 9, item center, as well as justify center. It is going to be just like this. So yeah, make sure to import two things, your text from React Native as well as your router as well. Okay, this is just the back button I've added. You can try to use the Expo vector icons as well, but this is the easiest way. You can try to add a emoji as well, even that would work. So yeah, save the file. So apart from that, over here I'm gonna have a view, and I'm gonna have the array.from method. I'm gonna say array.from. So over here I'm gonna say length, that is gonna be the total. I'm gonna say dot map over here for every value and your index. Basically, let's try to return a self-enclosing view that is going to be in the form of a progress bar, or just a kind of line, right? So here, first of all, key is going to be I. So class name, here I'm going to make use of backtext basically. So here I'm going to say give it a flex of 1, height of 1, rounded is going to be full, and condition over here, if I is less than step, then question mark, add the bg, that is going to be zinc 500. Sorry, not zinc, bg pink of 500, else it's going to be bg zinc of 800. Okay, that's it. Let's try to give the class name for the view. So class name, give it a flex of 1, flex of row, a gap of 1 as well, and save the file. And at the below part, that is below the view, over here I'm gonna show the step of total. So just try to access the step and the total value, and this is the style for this. Let's minimize this. This is the entire code. Save the file, come back over here, import progress bar from your components folder, and within your name.tsx, let's just hardcode the step value. So step, I'm going to send it as 1. Total, we're going to have 6 steps, so 6, and boom, just like that, everything's working properly fine. So yeah, this step is done. So over here, the next one is going to be with respect to your keyboard avoiding view. Let's add that. Okay, so this is going to have again class name, or let's say flex of 1, and your behavior, it's going to have the condition, which is going to say platform.os if it is equals to your iOS, question mark, then padding, else it is going to be height. So within this, we're going to have your design. I'm going to have a view basically. Here I'm going to say view. Within that, I'm going to have a text. Import both of them, view as well as text. This text is going to say, okay, my bad, I think we're going to have a couple of views, and within that we're going to have the text. So 2 more views. So within this text, we're going to have what's your name. So here I'm going to say what's your name. Below this, we're going to have one more piece of text, which is going to say this is how you'll appear to others. So this is how you will appear to others. Save the file. So let's start styling this out. Class name, it's gonna have a text of white and a font of bold. So for this class name, it's gonna have a text zinc of 500 and a text of base. Okay, so for this view, I'm gonna say class name, cap of 2, format, save. There you go, that's being shown correctly fine. So for the outermost view, I'm gonna give it a flex of 1 and some padding as well. So flex 1, px of 6, justify of between, okay, and a py of 8. There you go, that's looking fine. And yeah, apart from that, okay, so I forgot to give the font size for this. Here let's say style, some internal styling itself, font size of 30. Okay, so yeah, let's format once. So below this particular view, we're gonna have your input field being shown. I'm just gonna add the data for that. That's gonna be over here. So we have already designed that input field. That's on the components folder. Just try to import that and save the file. There you go. What is your name? This is how you'll appear to others, and then your first name. So that's pretty much it. Below the view, we're gonna have a button, even that is imported. So get it from the components folder. Label is gonna be equals to continue. Okay, on press. Over here I'm gonna say router dot push. It's gonna be /onboarding/age. That's gonna be the next screen. I think I forgot to give the design for the second most view. That's gonna have a gap of 6. Format and then save. So there you go. That's looking pretty good. So yeah, this step is done. So now the next step is, once I enter my name over here, say Sujan, they should be enabled. Continue. So just like that, it's working fine. So it's showing unmatched route because there is nothing present within your age.tsx. It's currently empty. Okay, let's go ahead and then let's start designing this. That is your age.tsx. So yeah, this design is going to remain pretty similar. First of all, let's try to define the function. I'm going to say export default function age screen. Get in two things over here, that is your age comma set age from your onboarding store is going to be equals to use onboarding store. I'm going to say const age num is going to be equals to parse int of age, and next we're also going to check the age valid is present or not. Okay, so next we're also going to check if at all the age is valid or not. So it should be greater than 18 and then less than 60. So here let's try to add the return block. I'm going to say safe area view, import that from your context file. So for this I'm gonna have in your class name similar style flex of 1, bg zinc of 500, sorry 950. Again over here we're gonna have your progress bar. Just try to copy that down from the previous screen. That's the name screen. So yeah, just try to add this code below this. Import that progress bar from components. Here step is going to be equals to 2. Again total is going to remain as is. Okay, so next part is going to remain pretty similar. Copy down the entire keyboard avoiding view, and we're gonna make the change over here. Okay, so import keyboard avoiding view, your platform, import view and the text as well. Input from your folder, that is components folder. Value is not set, that is name and set name. So here it should be age and set age. So change that, age and set age. Import router from Expo router, and then button from your not React Native, your components file. This should be age.trim. Okay, so here for disabled it should be not of is valid. Okay, apart from that your placeholder is going to be equals to 25. Here your keyboard type is going to be number pad because this is a age factor. So keyboard type, I'm going to say number pad. So here on change I'm going to make use of this regular expression. Okay, and yeah, I'm also going to say autofocus is going to be true. Apart from that, let's change the values over here. This is going to say how old are you, and here you must be at least 18 years of age. So you must be 18 or older to use chance. Save. Let's reload the app. Okay, name is present. Let's enter some random name. Continue. There you go. How old are you? And progress is also 2. Let's say 23. Continue. Okay, yeah, this needs to be changed because it's again coming to the age itself. It should be gender. Okay, save. Now let's go ahead and then start designing your gender screen. So let's come back to gender. So over here, first of all, I'm going to get in my options, that is for your values, that is male, female, non-binary and other. So I'm just going to add it over here just like this and import gender from your types folder. Okay, and here let's again try to export default function gender screen. Okay, so here I'm going to say const gender comma set gender is going to be equals to your use onboarding store. Let's try to return the safe area view, import that from your context file, and let's add the class name that is going to be equals to a flex of 1 bg zinc of 950. Within this I'm going to have your progress bar again. From your components, step is going to be 3 this time, total is going to remain as 6 itself. Below this, let's try to have the view and then let's map over all of the options. Okay, not yet, we have to have some top design. So couple of views, try to import from React Native. So yeah, below this we're gonna have one more piece of view. Below that we're gonna have a text which is gonna say, how do you identify? So import text from React Native. And below this we're gonna have one more text which is gonna say, help us find the right people for you. Just added both of the text and also the design as well. Format once and then save the file. Continue. So there you go, that's looking fine. And for the topmost view, I'm going to say class name over here, give it a flex of 1, px of 6, justify of between, and a py of 6 as well. Okay, that's looking fine. So here for this view, I'm going to say class name, give it a gap of 6, and for the inner view, a gap of 1. Okay, so once this is done, below this specific view, we're going to map over the options. I'm going to say view options dot your map functionality for every option. Here first of all I'm going to check if at all it is selected. So const selected is going to be equals to your gender if it is equals to your opt dot your value. Okay, here I'm going to say return a pressable, import that from React Native. Here we're going to have two pieces of text within a view. So I'm going to say view text, and we're going to have one more piece of text as well. So this is going to say opt dot value, this is going to say opt dot sub. Let's style this out. So class name for this, or we can directly try to give some internal styling. It's going to have a font size of 16 and a font weight of let's say 600. Pass on the color. If it is selected, I'm going to have this color code, that is F9A and then 8D4. Else, okay, it should come over here. It's going to be triple F. These are the styles for the second text. Try to copy that down, save the file. Okay, so for your outermost view, I'm going to give it a flex of 1. So style flex 1. So below this view we're going to have another view. This is going to have a selected option, and if it is true, add in a text and then show a check mark button. It's just going to be something like this. Okay, format once, save the file. So I think I messed out the design for the topmost pressable. Let's try to add that. So over here, first of all, key is going to be equals to your opt dot value. Okay, and then on press, this is gonna say set gender to be of your opt dot value. Let's pass on the style. It's gonna have a flex direction of row, and then align items of center. Okay, and apart from that, it's going to remain similar with respect to these styles, but we're going to have a different color shade. So after align items of center, we're going to have padding and the border radius being given. So your padding is going to be 16 and your border radius is going to be equals to 16 as well. Give it a format, and then I'm going to add the remaining styles based on the similar conditions but with a different shade of color. Okay, so you can take a look at it, format once, save. Let's give this a try. This is done, and there you go, just like that. Male, female, or non-binary. Yeah, I think we need to just style out the spacing part. It's not yet given, so let's look into where exactly that needs to be added. I think where we are mapping, that needs to be given some styling over here, or we can give some internal style itself. So style, give it a gap of 10. There you go, that's looking pretty good. So this step is done. Let's try to add the continue button as well. Copy that down from the other screen. So below this, import button, import router, disabled is going to be not of gender. Okay, so this should go to the goal screen. So add the goal over here, format once, and then save the file. Okay, let's add it below this view. Save. There you go, that's looking pretty good. So I've chosen male and then continue. Okay, so again we're getting unmatched because there is no code within the goal.tsx. So let's go ahead and then let's start styling out the goal.tsx. So again, this is going to have the exact same styling with respect to your gender screen. So just copy this down and make the changes. Okay, so instead of gender screen, we're going to have the goal screen over here. Now let's make the changes. It's going to be a relationship goal, comma, a set relationship goal. So safe area view is going to remain as is. Change the progress bar step number, that's going to come to 4. And this view is going to remain as is. Similar styling, we're going to have 2 pieces of text. What are you looking for? So here it's going to say, what are you? Here it's going to be looking for. Alright, and yeah, below that we're going to have one more piece of text. So it's going to be honest, it leads to better matches. So here I'm going to say, be honest, it leads to better matches. Save this file, and again over here we're going to have the view. Let me first of all get the options, that is the updated options for your goal screen. So I'm just going to add it over here. So I'll be sending all of these details in the description, that is in the form of a drive link. You can try to access that, and also the entire code is there in the description. You can try to buy it as well. Okay, so yeah, this step is done. So let's add the conditions over here. So this is going to be equals to your relationship goal should be equals to opt.value. Here on press, instead of set gender, it's going to be set relationship goal. Apart from that, this is going to remain as is, no change. Opt.label and then opt.sub. Sorry, opt.label should be the value. Yeah, this is opt.sub. Similar styling, and if it is selected, show that tick mark button again. Again, same styling, and we're gonna have the button over here. So disabled is gonna be equals to not of your relationship goal. And once you press on this, we're gonna go to the next screen. That's gonna be your traits screen. Save. Okay, continue, mail, continue, and boom, just like that. Long-term relationship, casual dating, and all of the options are being shown, and we can select it as well. So I'm going to choose first option and then continue. Let's go on to the next step. That's going to be your traits.tsx. Let's start designing the traits. It's pretty simple. Okay, so here first of all, onto the top of the trait screen, I'm going to get the traits data. Let's try to add it over here. So with the help of this, we're going to start designing the screen. So make sure to import the trait from the types folder, and here I'm going to say export default function. It's gonna be traits screen. Okay, here let's try to get in two things: your const personality trait, comma your toggle trait is gonna be equals to use onboarding store. So this should be small p, I guess. Personality traits. Yeah, that's done. So here I'm going to say return. It's going to be a safe area view. Let's pass on the class name to this. This is going to have, basically a flex of 1 and then a bg zinc of 950. Okay, similar styling we're going to use. Again, let's try to add in your progress bar. This is going to be step number 5. So you import progress bar from your components file, and here I'm going to have a view. Within that, one more view. Here I'm going to have a text basically. This is going to say your personality. So import text from React Native, save the file, and you're going to have one more piece of text over here, second text for the screen. So these are the two pieces of text. Let's format once, save the file. So for the topmost view, I'm going to pass on the class name and give it a flex of 1, px of 6, some internal spacing as well as some vertical spacing, py of 4. This is going to have a class name as well, or you can give some internal styling, basically a gap. So I'm going to say gap of 4. Okay, and a margin bottom of, or let's say 20. Alright, let's try to save the file. Now here we're going to use the scroll view and then we're going to show the design. So I'm going to say scroll view, import that, and over here I'm going to say show vertical scroll indicator is going to be equals to false. Style, I'm going to give it a flex of 1. Okay, here I'm going to have a view. Within that I'm going to map over the traits that we have. So I'm going to say traits dot apply the map functionality for every trait. First of all, let's try to get in two things: if at all it's selected, and if at all they have maxed out based on the condition. So you can only select 3 traits at most, right? So let me add those two conditions over here. That is going to be just like this. So if it is selected, it should be equals to personality traits dot includes. Just use the includes method. If it includes the trait dot value, then it is selected, and this is the condition added for maxed. If at all the length is greater than 3, then it is maxed out. Okay, so here I'm going to say return, and I'm going to have a pressable, basically import that from React Native. Here having two pieces of text, one is going to show the label. I'm going to say trait dot label. Below that we're going to have one more piece of design, that's going to be trait dot your description. So for your pressable, let's pass on the class name. Before that, key, that is going to be equals to your trait dot your value. On press, what needs to happen, you need to call that function, that is toggle trait of your value. That's going to be traits dot value. Okay, I forgot to take in the function. Yeah, so for the class name, or inside the class name, let's pass on the style, some internal styling. So padding horizontal of, let's say, 16, padding vertical of 12, border radius of 14, and I'm going to add a conditional styling based on the different shades of color for background color, border width, border color, opacity, as well as the min width. Okay, so you can take a look at it. Format, let's pass on the design for the text over here. Style is going to be equals to your font size, that's going to be 15, font weight of 600, Okay, your color, if it is selected, question mark, it's going to be hashtag F9A and then 8D4, else it's going to be white and a margin bottom of 2. Okay, these are the styles. So for the second one, simple, if you're going to have a font size as well as a specific color. So style, font size of let's say 12, and I'm going to say color of this color code, that is going to be hashtag 525 and then 25B. Okay, so yeah, save the file. So below the scroll view, you're going to add one more design to check how many of them have been selected, as well as a continue button to move to the next screen. That is going to be just like this. Import button from React Native, from the components folder, as well as import router from your Expo router. Save, go back, name, age, your this thing, so your gender and your relationship type, your personality. Okay, so here we need to make the changes for the view, that is over here, design changes. I'm going to say style. This is going to have a flex direction of row, and we're going to have a flex wrap of wrap. Okay, and I'm going to give it a gap of 10. Save. As you can see, just like that, it's looking good. So as soon as I select 3 of the options, automatically everything's going to get disabled. Okay, this step is done. Now let's move on to the next one. It's going to be for the location. So yeah, let's come back to location.tsx. Let's first of all design that. Here I'm going to have in some hard-coded location areas in Bangalore, and then we're going to use that data, and then we're going to design this. So I'm just going to paste in the areas over here, just like this. You can feel free to add in more values as well. Here I'm going to say export default function, your location screen. Okay, here I'm going to say const location, comma, your set location is going to be equals to use onboarding store. Here I'm going to say return, having a safe area view, import that from context and pass on the class name. That's going to be a flex of 1 and bg zinc of 950. So yes, below this, yeah, again the progress bar, import that. Okay, here your step is going to be 6, and total we can make it as 7, because I think we missed out one more part, that's going to be for the interests, right? So progress bar, add it, save. So below this, we're going to have 2 pieces of text, that is where in Bangalore, as well as we'll show you people nearby. So similar styling that we have done previously. So for that, having a view, import that view from React Native. Within that, I'm going to have these 2 pieces of texts. Okay, just like this, I'm going to add in the text as well over here. And for the view, let's pass on some internal spacing styling. So I'm going to say over here, class name, give it a flex of 1, px of 6, as well as a py of 4. Okay, I think I messed up the view within this. Add a view, and then within that, we're going to have the texts. Format, save. Again, over here, we're going to have the scroll view being designed. So having a scroll view. Okay, so for the scroll view, I'm going to say show vertical scroll indicator, and I'm going to set it to be false. I'm going to pass on some style, that's going to have a flex of 1. So here I'm going to have a view. I'm going to say a Bengaluru areas dot apply the map for every area. Over here, I'm going to first of all check if it is selected or not. So const selected is going to be equals to your location. If it is equals to area, then it is selected. Okay, let's try to return the design. I'm going to again make use of a pressable. So here we're going to have just the text that's going to show the area. Alright, let's pass on the class name for this, or some internal styling. So style, This is gonna have a font size of 14, font weight, a conditional setting. If it is selected, then 600, else 400. Color, if it is selected, then this color code, that is hashtag F9A8D4, else that's going to be equals to hashtag A1 and then double A. Save. So for the pressable, I'm going to say key, that is going to be area on press, taking a function, and over here I'm going to say set your location to be of that specific area. Okay, this is done. So yeah, we need to give the design for the pressable. I'm just going to add the style for that over here. So there you go. This is the style. Format once and then save. And below the scroll view, we're going to have that button design. Copy that down. So here I'm going to say view, add the button, import button from React Native, not React Native. Control Z, it should be coming from the components. Yeah, that's the one. Format once, import router as well. And disabled is going to be not of location. Format and save. So for the view, some padding top should be given. So style, padding top of, let's say 12. So continue, next. There you go. So we just need to style out the inner view where we have the scroll view. We need to give it a flex of row and then flex wrap as well. So style, flex direction of row, and flex wrap of wrap. Give it a gap of 10. So there you go. That's looking good. You can select any one of them and then we can move to the next screen. So the final step is for the trade screen. I'm just going to add the code for that. So that's going to be the entire part for video 1. That is mostly the UI design part for onboarding. In the next step, that is in the next video, we're going to add the next feature, that is setting up the backend in NestJS, and then we're going to build all of the APIs to integrate and proceed with the application. So I'm going to add the code for the trades. That's the final part. So let's come back to the trade screen. Make sure this is changed. Once you go to onboarding, it should go to trades. Okay, my bad, not trades, it should be the interest screen. That's going to be the last one. So from location, it's going to go into interests, not trades. So I'm going to say interests, save the file. So I'm going to add the design for the interest screen. So this is going to be the last step over here. Also, I've just added the code for interest screen. You can take a look at it. Again, similarly, taking all of the required things, that is your toggle interest from your use onboarding store. Okay, we're going to use this once when we implement the backend part. And yeah, this is the design. Again, 2 pieces of text at the top, and we're going to map over it, and we're going to show the design. So to get the data from interest, I've just created a lib folder, and we have a constant.ts file, and over there I've added all of the required data. I'll be sending that file in the description. You can take a look at it. So this is the entire design for the interest screen. So you can go through it from the top portion if probably you've missed something. Okay, so this is going to be the last step in onboarding. So once you press on continue over here, or set up the profile, you should be able to create a profile, and then you should be able to navigate to the main home screen. So yeah, this part is done. So this was it about part 1. We're gonna start building it slowly. So that's the reason I'm just trimming it into different videos. So in the next video, we're gonna have the backend being set up, and we're gonna write all of the APIs, and then we're gonna connect all of the APIs to different parts so that the onboarding is gonna work properly fine. So that's it about this video. Let's see you in the next part, and then thank you for watching.